It was a muggy afternoon when Emily and Jack arrived at Thornfield Cemetery. The place had been abandoned for decades, leaving it overgrown and forgotten by time. They were both passionate genealogists, driven by a curiosity about their own roots and a desire to uncover hidden histories. Emily's great-great-grandfather, a man of mystery and intrigue, was rumored to be buried here. Jack, her research partner, was there to help and document the journey. The iron gates of the cemetery creaked as they pushed them open, the rusted hinges groaning in protest. The air was thick with the smell of damp earth and decaying leaves. Towering trees loomed overhead, their branches intertwined like skeletal fingers, blocking out the sun and casting eerie shadows on the ground. "Thornfield Cemetery," Jack muttered, reading the faded letters on the gate. "This place gives me the creeps." Emily smiled, though her eyes showed a hint of apprehension. "It's just an old cemetery. Let's find great-great-grandpa's grave and get the hell out of here." They stepped onto the cracked pathway, their footsteps muffled by the thick undergrowth. The silence was palpable, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves and the distant call of a crow. The graves were in various states of disrepair, some with headstones so worn that the inscriptions were barely legible. Emily pulled out a worn piece of paper from her backpack, squinting at the scribbled notes. "He should be buried in the northwestern section, near an old oak tree," she said. They navigated through the maze of graves, the sense of unease growing with each step. The deeper they went, the denser the vegetation became, until they reached a clearing dominated by a massive oak tree. Its gnarled branches stretched out like the arms of a guardian. There, Emily pointed to a grave covered in ivy. "That's his." Jack began to clear away the ivy, revealing a weathered headstone. As they worked, a sudden chill ran down Emily's spine. She glanced around, feeling as though they were being watched. "Do you feel that?" she whispered. Jack paused, looking up. "Yeah, it's like the temperature just dropped." Ignoring the cold, they continued their work. Beneath the ivy, they discovered an intricate carving on the headstone, a symbol neither of them recognized. "What do you think it means?" Jack asked. Emily shook her head. "I don't know, but I have a feeling we're about to find out." As they stood up, a low, guttural whisper echoed through the clearing. "Leave this place." They spun around, searching for the source of the voice, but saw nothing. The atmosphere grew heavier, the air thick with an oppressive energy. Shadows seemed to move of their own accord, and the trees rustled with an unnatural intensity. "We need to go," Jack urged, his voice trembling. Emily hesitated, her curiosity battling her fear. "Not yet. We need to document this." She pulled out her camera, snapping photos of the headstone and the surrounding area. As she reviewed the images, her heart skipped a beat. In the photos, faint outlines of figures could be seen standing among the graves, their eyes glowing with an ethereal light. "Jack, look at this," she said, showing him the camera. He paled. "We have to leave, now." But before they could move, the ground beneath them began to tremble. Cracks appeared in the earth, and a thick black mist seeped out, enveloping them. The whispers grew louder, more insistent. "Leave or suffer." Panic set in as they tried to escape, but the mist seemed to have a mind of its own, pulling them back toward the grave. Emily felt a cold hand grasp her ankle, and she screamed, kicking frantically. Jack grabbed her arm, trying to pull her free, but the grip was unyielding. "We have to apologize," Emily gasped. "We disturbed them." Jack nodded, his eyes wide with fear. "We're sorry. We didn't mean to intrude." The whispers paused, and for a moment, it seemed as though the spirits were considering their plea. But then the grip tightened, and Emily was dragged toward the open grave. Jack held on with all his strength, but he was losing the battle. "Emily!" he shouted. With a final, desperate effort, Emily reached out and touched the headstone, whispering a prayer. The mist recoiled, and the grip on her ankle loosened. Jack pulled her free, and they scrambled away from the grave, gasping for breath. The mist dissipated, and the whispers faded into silence. They lay on the ground, trembling and exhausted, the reality of their ordeal sinking in. "We need to get out of here," Emily said, her voice barely above a whisper. They stumbled back to the entrance, the oppressive atmosphere lifting as they left the cemetery behind. Once outside the gates, they collapsed on the ground, grateful to be alive. "Did that really just happen?" Jack asked, his voice shaking. Emily nodded, clutching her camera. We have to leave this place alone. Some secrets are meant to stay buried. They never returned to Thornfield Cemetery, but the experience haunted them both. The images on Emily's camera served as a chilling reminder of the spirits they had disturbed, and though they never spoke of it again, they knew that the guardians of Thornfield would always be watching, ready to protect their secrets from those who dared to intrude.